Make the ground shake.
Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Gummy. Today we are here with another statue tutorial. Today we are doing Doctor Strange from the new Marvel film which is coming out called Doctor Strange. So this is coming out in the next few days in America and the rest of the world. I really do hope it's a good film, of course, because why would you not want a good film? But anyways, I do hope you enjoy this tutorial. This statue was designed by myself. It's really detailed, as you can probably see here, by all the different blocks and colours we're going to be using. So it's definitely an interesting build, and again I really do hope you enjoy it. If you do, definitely consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing down below. And just because YouTube sub boxes are god awful, I also recommend following me on Twitter if you want to, at GummyBearGames, Instagram at RealGummy, and then also as an extra bonus, just as a trio, hit the little bell button, little bell icon right next to the subscription button on YouTube and click all notifications. Now what this will do is it will send you a cheeky email every time I upload, and it means you don't have to rely on YouTube sub boxes because they are pretty darn bad. With that said, let's get straight into the tutorial. So the blocks you're going to need to build this are the following. You'll need black wool, grey wool, cyan stained clay, blue wool, lapis lazuli, blue stained clay, brown stained clay, spruce planks, oak planks. Then you're going to need black stained clay, light grey stained clay, red stained clay, white wool, block of gold, yellow wool, red wool, cyan wool, and white stained clay. So if you want to grab them blocks into your inventory, I'll give you a second to do so, that'll be great, and then we can get into building. So the way we're going to be doing this is in the usual format, which is going to be legs first, then body, then sides, rear, then head. However, this statue has a lot of 3D effects, so we'll be doing that at the exact same time, just to make it easy. But again, if you ever feel you need to pause, just hit the pause button. I'll try and give you as many opportunities as possible. But anyways, let's begin. So what we're going to do, as I just mentioned, is start off with the front of the legs. The front of the legs are 12 tall and 8 wide. And we're going to start off, find a nice empty space, and by placing 8 black wool in a row. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now this is the front of the statue. The statue will be facing this way. So if you want the statue facing the other way, of course, just build it the other way. The second layer, and again, bear in mind there's 12 layers, each being 8 wide. The second layer is 1 cyan stained clay, 6 grey wool, and 1 cyan stained clay. Now we're going left to right on each layer. Again, that's something to consider. The third layer is 8 grey wool. And then the fourth layer is the exact same as the second, apart from the 2 blocks in the middle. So what we're going to do is 1 cyan, 1 grey, 2 cyan, 2 grey, 1 cyan. So again, just to go over that, 1 cyan, 2 grey, 2 cyan, 2 grey, and 1 cyan. So exact same as this row, apart from the 2 middle blocks are cyan. The next row, which is the 5th row, we're going to place 1 blue stained clay, 1 blue wool, 1 lapis, 2 blue wool, 1 lapis, and 2 blue wool. And again, that is the 5th layer. I'm backing up after each layer just so you can see what it looks like, and again, it gives you an optimal opportunity to pause. The next layer, starting again from left to right, is 2 blue stained clay, 1 blue wool, 2 lapis, 2 blue wool, and 1 lapis. Now to give you a rundown on what the blue and lapis represents, the blue, of course, is his trousers, the lapis is just creases and details, and then the blue stained clay is the alternate colour, which is on his clothing. The next layer is 2 blue stained clay, and then 6 blue wool. Again, that is the 7th layer. The 8th layer is 3 blue stained clay, 2 lapis blocks, 2 spruce planks, and 1 lapis block. The next layer, we're going to place 3 blue stained clay, 2 blue wool, 2 spruce planks, and 1 blue wool. The layer after that, which is the 10th layer, I believe, we're going to place 4 blue stained clay, 1 lapis, 1 blue wool, 1 brown stained clay, and 1 lapis. The next layer, which is the 11th layer, again we're going to place 4 blue stained clay, 1 blue wool, 2 spruce planks, and 1 blue wool. And then that leaves us with our final layer, which is of course the 12th layer, and we're going to place 5 blue stained clay, 2 spruce planks, and 1 lapis. And once you've done that, it will look something like this. Now what I'm going to do is get rid of my arm and give you guys the perfect opportunity to pause. So as you can see, that is 12 blocks tall and 8 blocks wide, and that is the legs complete. Now what we're going to do is start making progress on the body. So I'm going to grab my arm back and then we're going to begin. So this now is the 13th layer of the build. We're going to start off on the left side by placing 2 blue stained clay, 2 spruce planks, 3 oak planks and 1 spruce. Again, to go over that, 2 blue stained clay, 2 spruce, 3 oak and 1 spruce. However, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our white stained clay onto our hotbar, and on the left side we're going to go 1, 2, 3 and 4 to the left using white stained clay, and same with the right side, we go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right using white stained clay. Essentially what that is doing is marking out where the hands go. We're not actually going to be building the arms now, but we'll come back to it later on, and it just saves a bit of time, so that's always handy. Again, that's on the 13th layer of the build. We go 4 to the left, 4 to the right using white stained clay. But for now, we're going to ignore the white stained clay and continue with the body. So now, for the second layer of the body, we're going to start on top of this blue stained clay right here. We're going to place 4 spruce planks, 1 oak plank, 1 brown stained clay, and 2 spruce planks. The next layer, we're going to place 4 spruce planks, 3 oak planks, and 1 spruce plank. The layer after this, we're going to place 5 spruce planks. So again, 5 spruce planks, 1 lapis, and 2 blue wool. On top of this, the next layer, which is technically the 5th layer of the body, we're going to place 2 blue wool, 1 lapis, 2 blue stained clay, lapis, and 2 blue wool. And if I can place the blocks, that would be great. So again, just backing up every time. That was the 5th layer of the body. The 6th layer is the exact same, so 2 blue wool, 1 lapis, 2 blue stained clay, 1 lapis, and 2 blue wool. The next layer, which is the 7th layer, we're going to place 1 blue wool, 1 lapis, 1 blue wool, and now we're going to need our yellow wool, so we grab 2 yellow wool, 1 blue wool, 1 lapis, and 1 blue wool. The layer after that, we're going to place 1 blue wool, 1 lapis, 1 yellow wool, 2 blue stained clay, so we need our blue stained clay back, 2 blue stained clay, 1 yellow wool, 1 lapis, and 1 blue wool. And the next layer, again, exact same, so blue, lapis, yellow, 2 blue stained clay, yellow, lapis, and blue wool. The next layer, which is the 10th layer, we're going to place 1 lapis, 1 blue wool, 1 yellow wool, 2 blue stained clay, 1 yellow wool, 1 blue wool, and 1 lapis. Again, just for reference, what it looks like so far, that is the first 10 layers. The 11th layer, we're going to place 2 blue wool, 4 blue stained clay, and 2 blue wool. And then we're going to finish it off with the final layer, which is of course the 12th layer, by placing 3 red wool, 2 blue stained clay, and 3 red wool. Now, again, this is optional because this will all be part of the cape later on. You can either have it as 2 or you can have it as 4 for the blue stained clay. So you can have it 2 red wool, 4 blue stained clay, 2 red wool, or if you want the cape to be a bit more obvious and a bit more in your face, you can have 3 red wool, 2 blue, 3 red. For the purpose of this, I'm going to keep it as blue. So 2 red, 4 blue, 2 red. And once you've done that, it will look like this. Again, I'll get rid of my arm real briefly, just to show you. Currently, it should be 24 tall, 16 wide, 8 wide if you're not including the arms. Of course, we're not at the moment because we haven't finished them. Okay, so what we are missing is on the body there is a bunch of 3D effects. What we're going to start off by doing is, with our block of gold on the medallion here, what we're going to do is above this 2 yellow wool here, we're going to place 2 gold, go down diagonal to the left and down diagonal to the right. And again, bear in mind this is all 3D. We're building it on top of, not into. What we're then going to do is go down diagonal and to side and basically cap it off like that, and that is the medallion complete. Now the rest of the 3D effects require the arms to be done, so we're going to work on them right now. So starting off, what we're going to do is start with the left arm. Now each arm is 12 tall and 4 blocks wide. We come to the 13th layer of the build and we go 4 blocks to the left. That is the first layer. Again, that is white stained clay. For the second layer, we're going to go left to right, so we place 2 cyan, 2 white stained clay. The next layer is 2 blue wool and 2 cyan. The fourth layer is 2 blue stained clay, 2 blue wool. On top of that, we're going to place 2 blue wool and then 2 blue stained clay. So that is the fifth layer. The sixth layer is simply 4 blue wool. And then on top of that, we're going to place 1 blue, 1 lapis, 1 blue, 1 lapis. The next layer is 1 blue wool, 1 lapis, and then 2 blue wool. On top of that, we're going to place 2 blue, 1 lapis, and 1 blue wool. The next layer is simply 4 blue wool. The second to last layer, being the 11th layer, is 2 blue, 1 lapis, and 1 blue. And then the final layer is simply 4 red wool. It's nice and simple. As you can see, it looks like this. That is 12 tall and 4 wide. Now the good news is the other arm, the right arm, is the exact same. So if you want to pause here and flip it over, copy it over yourself, feel free to do so. However, I will be going for it nevertheless, just to help you guys out. So moving on now to the right arm, we're going to start with the same. We come to the 13th layer of the build. If you haven't already marked it out, go 4 blocks to the right using white stained clay. The second layer is 2 white stained clay and 2 cyan wool. And then on top of that, we're going to place 2 cyan and 2 blue. The fourth layer is 2 blue wool and then 2 blue stained clay. And then the fifth layer is the exact same mirrored. So 2 blue stained clay and then 2 blue wool. The next layer, we're going to place 4 blue wool. And then on top of that, we're going to place 1 lapis, 1 blue, 1 lapis, and 1 blue wool. The next layer, we're going to place 2 blue wool, 1 lapis, and 1 blue wool. And on top of this, we're going to place 1 blue, 1 lapis, 2 blue. The next layer is simply 4 blue wool. On top of that, we're going to place 1 blue, 1 lapis, 2 blue, and then finally 4 red wool to cap it off for the final layer. And as you can see, once you've done that, it will look something like this. Now again, currently the only 3D effect we have is the medallion. Now we're going to be adding a bunch more. So again, opportunity to pause. Currently the body is 12 tall, 16 wide, 8 wide if you're not including the arms. Each arm is 12 by 4 and then the body is of course 12 by 8. So for these 3D effects, not the credits, 3D effects, we're going to get our cyan wool and we're going to start off on the bottom of each hand / arm. At this cyan wool, there should be 4 in total, 2 here, then we go up diagonal, 2 here. We're going to bring it forwards 1, so we're going to place 3D effect 4 in total, and it will look like this, and same logic for this side. On the 4 cyan, we're going to bring it forwards 1, and it will be 4 cyan on each side as a 3D effect, and these are kind of like the rims around the cuffs of his jacket / shirt kind of thing. You get what I'm talking about, hopefully. The next 3D effect we're going to add is a bit more of a significant one, and again this is the top of his cape. So for this part we're going to need red wool and white wool, and we're going to start off in the top left corner. Now again, bear in mind all this is 3D, so we're building it on top of, not replacing. So what we're going to start off by doing is placing in from here 1 red wool and going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, so it's a row of 6. If you have a red wool here and a red wool here, you can bring it in 1 more. However, again, alternatively, it looks, I'd say, probably better if you have the 4 blue stained clay. On this side, again, we're going to bring it forward, so we're going to do a row of 6 red wool, and it should currently be looking something like this. So we're going to go back to the left side now, and underneath this, we're going to place 2 red wool, leave a 1 block gap, place 2 red wool, and then a white wool. From this white wool, underneath it, and also to right, we're going to place a red wool, and that is the left side complete. For the right side now, we're going to go to the right corner and we're going to place 2 red wool, leave a 1 block gap, 2 red wool, one white wall, and then underneath and to the left, of course, one red wall to cap it off. And once you've done that, as you can see, it will look like this. Already starting to look kind of nice. I say kind of because I don't want to be like obnoxious and say it's great because I designed it, but I really do like this design. Let me know down in the comments below if you like it just as much. Okay, so at this point, again, something like this, but it's not very body-like, it's a bit flat. It's almost like a pixel art at this point. So that's what we're going to work on now, is making the statue 3D. So, moving on now, we're going to come to the bottom left corner, and round to the left side. We're going to expand 1, 2, 3 to the left. Now the side of the legs and the side of the arms are 12 tall, 4 wide, however the fourth row is already done, which means we're placing 3 blocks per row. Again, we're going to be working layer by layer, left to right, so let's begin. Starting off at the bottom, the first layer, of course, is black wool. The second layer is cyan stained clay, so 3 cyan stained clay. When I say numbers, I'm not referring to this row here, I'm kind of ignoring this is here, just based on the blocks we are placing. So the next row is 2 cyan and 1 grey wool, and then the fourth layer is 1 cyan and 2 grey wool. On top of this, we're going to place 2 grey wool, and then 1 blue stained clay. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to build this blue stained clay right here up 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if you've done it correctly, it should come up to the top here in line with this block right there. We're then going to work on bringing these 2 layers right next to it up to the same height. So what we're going to do here is on this row, so not the first row, the second row, we're going to build up 6 using blue stained clay. And what that will do is bring you to the same height apart from 1, so it'll be 1 block down. And then for the first row, we're going to bring it up 5. So that will bring you again to the same height, this time -2. And that will leave 3 blocks in a corner shape like so. In these 3 blocks, we're simply going to place blue wool. And once you've done that, that is your 12x4 complete. And if you want to pause, again, this is a front on view and then a side angle view. Just to go over the measurements of the blue stained clay here, that is 5, 6, 8, 8. Again, I repeat, 5, 6, 8, and 8. Okie dokie, so that is the left leg complete. Now, normally, I'd say the great part is the right leg is the exact same. However, in this occasion, it's not, because on the left side, we've got the part of the jacket that swoops down, whereas on the right side, not so much. So we're now going to head round to the right side and start working on that. So we start off like we did before, expanding 1, 2, 3 to right using black wool. On top of this, we're going to place 3 cyan stained clay. And then the third layer, we're going to place 1 grey and 2 cyan. For the fourth layer, we're going to place 2 grey wool and 1 cyan. And then for the next layer, we're going to place 1 blue wool. And this is where we're going to need our lapis. And then 2 grey wool. So the next layer is 3 blue wool. Layer after that, we're going to place 1 blue wool, 1 lapis, and 1 blue wool. And then the next layer is the exact same. So blue wool, lapis, blue wool. On top of this, we're going to place 1 lapis and 2 blue wool. Then a layer of 3 blue wool. Second to last layer, we're going to place 1 blue wool, 1 lapis, 1 blue wool. And then the final layer is 3 blue wool. Now again, I'm trying to go as slow as possible. But if you did struggle with that at all, again, let me know. Or alternatively, just pause the video right here and have a look for yourself. Again, it is 12 layers tall and 4 layers thick. Moving on now to the arms, or at least the side of the arms. What I'm going to do is grab mine back and then we can begin. So what we're going to start off by doing is coming around to the rear side of the statue, should currently be looking something like this, and come down to the first layer of the arms, which is the white stained clay. What we're going to do is expand this back 3 blocks all the way across. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And what that will do is give you a 4x4 square of white stained clay. Now we repeat this on the other side now. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, that will give you a 4x4 of white stained clay. That will give you, again, 2 platforms, as I just mentioned. 1 there, 1 there. And that gives us the platform which we can start working from. So what we're going to do is, again, layer by layer, left to right. It's 12 tall, 4 wide. Now don't get confused, because this part technically isn't the arm, neither is this part here. This is all 3D effects on the front side of the body. So anyways, let's begin. So what we're going to start off, we need our cyan wool, and we're also going to need our blue and blue stained clay. So the first layer is already got is white stained clay, and then the second layer is 3 cyan. The next layer is 3 blue wool, then 3 blue stained clay. So again, you can see here it matches up perfectly with the color at the side. And then on top of that, we're going to do 7 layers of blue wool. So again, 7 layers of blue wool. Just to recap, layer of white stained clay, layer of cyan, layer of blue wool, layer of blue stained clay, 7 layers of blue wool, and then the final layer is red wool. As you can see here, that is what it looks like. What we're then going to do, just as again a 3D effect, is in front of cyan wool here, we're going to bring it forwards. So we do a row of 4 cyan, and from a side angle now, it will look something like this. Now we will be adding some red wool to the sides as well. The way we're going to do this is, of course, starting by grabbing our red wool. We're going to come to the top left corner right here on this red wool here, and we're going to place a row of 4 red wool, again as a 3D effect. Underneath this, we're going to leave a 1 block gap, place 1 red wool, 1 block gap and 1 red wool, and as you can see here, it should end up looking like this. It should link up diagonally to the already existent red wool of the 3D effect of the front side, and yeah, it will give you a nice corner shape and continue the cape round to the left side of the arm. So that is the left arm now complete, or at least the left side of the left arm. Of course, we've still got the rear side to go, but we're now going to work on the right side of the arm. So coming around to the right side, it is the exact same logic. The first layer, of course, being white stained clay, second layer cyan, third layer blue, fourth layer blue stained clay, 7 layers of blue wool, so again a 7x3 of blue wool, and then the last but not least layer being 3 red wool. So again, just to go over that one last time, it's a layer of white stained clay. Bear in mind each layer is 4 wide. White stained clay, 1 layer of cyan, 1 layer of blue, 1 layer of blue stained clay, 7 layers of blue wool, and 1 layer of red wool. Then what we're going to do is again come to the top right corner this time, and we're going to place a row of 4 red wool. And then starting from the front side, so in this case I guess it's the left, we're going to place 1 red wool, leave a 1 block gap, 1 red wool, and then a 1 block gap, and that will give you your corner shape again at the top. And then the final addition we're going to do is this row of 4 cyan wool right here. As you can see, just a layer of 4 cyan wool. Okie dokie, so again from head on, this is what it looks like, and then from a corner angle like this. You can really start to see it taking shape. As you can see, this is pretty much the body complete from the front angle. However, if you come around to the rear side, you can see it's a bit more empty and a bit more of a mess. So that's what we're going to work on now. So starting at the bottom, which is of course the legs are 12 tall and 8 wide. However, row on the left, row on right equals 2, which means there's a 6 block gap in between. That's what we're going to work on. So we're going to start off. The materials you'll need are the following. You'll need your black wool, your grey, your cyan, then you'll need blue wool, blue stained clay, and lapis. The rest of the blocks you can clear with your hotbar, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to start off on the first layer. The first layer is simply 6 black wool, and then we have 2 layers of 6 cyan stained clay. On top of this, we're going to do 2 layers of 6 grey wool. So currently it should be 5 blocks tall. The next layer we're going to place, again from left to right, 4 blue wool and 2 blue stained clay. On top of this, we're going to place 1 lapis, 1 blue wool, 2 lapis, and 2 blue stained clay. Next layer, we're going to place 1 lapis, 4 blue wool, and 1 blue stained clay. The next layer we're going to place is 1 blue wool, 1 lapis, 2 blue wool, 1 lapis, and 1 blue stained clay. We're then going to do a layer simply of 6 blue wool. So that is the 10th layer. The 11th layer is 2 lapis, 2 blue wool, and 2 lapis. And then the 12th and final layer is 2 blue wool, 2 lapis, and 2 blue wool. So again, that is what it looks like. That is a 12x8, and you are more than welcome to pause. Moving on to the body now, and this is very, very simple, and I'll explain in a minute why. We're going to start off by placing in the bottom left corner 2 blue wool, 4 grey wool, and 2 blue wool. The next layer is 3 grey wool, 2 cyan, and 3 grey wool. And then we're going to do 2 layers of 8 cyan. So 2 layers again of 8 cyan. And that is 4 layers tall now, and again 8 blocks wide. On top of this, we're going to do 7 layers of 8 blue wool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and finally 7. And then for the final layer, because that brings it up to 11, we're simply going to grab our red wool and do a row of 8 red wool. So as you can see, again, 12 tall, 8 wide, that is 4 layers at the bottom, 7 layers of blue wool, and then 1 layer of red wool. Now the reason why this is so plain is because we're going to be adding some 3D effects, i.e. a cape, which is going to cover most of it. So there's no point of adding a ton of detail because it's all going to get covered up by the cape. So before we move on to the cape, what we're going to do is work on the remaining parts of the arms. We're going to start off on the right arm first, or at least the rear of the right arm. In this case, it's our left. So what we're going to do is start off, we're going to need our white stained clay. So I'll grab that. The first layer is, again, white stained clay. Same logic applies. It is 12 tall, 4 wide. However, 4th block already done, so we're only placing 3 blocks per row. The second layer, we're going to place 1 cyan wool and then 2 white stained clay. And on top of that, we're going to place 3 blue wool. Now again, you can change this out with cyan. We'll add a cyan 3D effect afterwards. So just place, I guess, 1 blue wool and 2 cyan. And then you can place your cyan 3D effect, as you can see right there. So just bring it forwards 1 for the 4 blocks, and that is your effect. On top of this, we're going to place 3 blue stained clay. We're then going to do 7 layers of 3 blue wool. So again, 7 layers of 3 blue wool. And that will leave you, again, 1 block from the top where we're going to place 3 red wool. Very, very simple, very plain, and that is what it looks like. Heading over to the other side now, exact same logic applies. The first layer is simply white stained clay. Second layer is 2 white stained clay, 1 cyan. The next layer is 2 cyan and 1 blue wool. The fourth layer is 3 blue stained clay. Then we have 7 layers, again, of blue wool. And the final layer is, of course, our red wool. And same as this side, what we're going to do is on the cyan wool, we're going to bring it forwards 1. So 4 blocks in total, and that is 4 3D effects. Okie dokie, so we now have a nice flat surface. We're going to work on adding the cape. So what we're going to do to start off with the cape, we're going to grab our red stained clay. That's all the materials you're going to need is red wool and red stained clay. So let me grab that for you now. And we're going to start off with the bottom left corner of the legs. What we're going to do is go to the right one, and then we're going to count up 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the 6th block, which should be this blue wool right here, we're going to place a red stained clay. Now this is the first layer of his cape. From here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. So that's now a row of 6 red stained clay. What we're then going to do is we're going to work our way up on the left and right. It's the exact same on both sides. So we're going to go up 1 to the left 1. And then we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And same on the right side. So we go up 1 to right 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it should come in line with the cyan wool. And this is essentially, at this point in time, an outline. What we're then going to do is on the left side, we go up diagonal. On the right side, we go up diagonal to the right. And we're going to go up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we go up diagonal to the left again. Up 1 to the left 1. And then up diagonal. So again, that is 6. Up diagonal, up 1 to left, up diagonal. And same with this side, we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 in total. Up diagonal to right. Up 1 to right 1. Up diagonal to the right. Now everything in this area now is all red wool. The red stained clay is the outline. We then fill everything in the outline using red wool. Again, bear in mind this is all 3D effect. Because of course the cape isn't part of his body. It's on top of his body. So bit of logic there. But Again, the reason why I use the red stained clay is to give it a more defined outline. If you want to keep it just simply all red wool, because the red wool probably has a bit of a nicer, brighter, more vibrant colour to it, then feel free to do so. But I like having an outline just to define where the borders of the cape are. So again, as you can see here, I'm just filling in all the area inside. There's a lot of area, and the majority of the body is now, or the majority of the rear of the body is now covered up by this cape. As you can see here, that is what it looks like once you've done it. And just for reference again, there should be a 5-block gap at the bottom. Then you've got the big pillar here. You go up diagonal, that's 6, 6. And then this one, I believe, let me just count to double check, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9, 6, 9, 6. Perfect. So what we're going to do now, before moving on to the head, because that's pretty much all we've got left now, is we're going to fill in the shoulders. So we fill in the shoulders simply using our red wool. And then the final addition, final addition, of course, before we move on, we're going to come back to the rear side now, to the top layer. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block we're going to place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there should be a 4-block gap on this side. So a row of 8 red wool, and again this is coming out on the top layer, 4-block gap on the left, 4-block gap on the right. Reason why that is again connecting to the neck, but I'll talk about that later on in the video. But for now, that is the body complete. Now, before we do move on to the head, I'm going to do a little spin around, give you guys an opportunity to pause if you need, catch up if you miss anything along the way. Now, what I do recommend is at this point in time, if there's a specific part you don't understand, give it a go back in the video, see where things have gone wrong, try and figure it out yourself. If it still doesn't work, feel free to comment down below and I'll try and help you on a more personalized basis. But the way this is going to work is I'm going to come to a specific part of the statue, for example, the front of the legs. I'm going to state that is, of course, the front of the legs, and then give off the dimensions. It's 12 tall, 8 wide. Then, what I'm going to do is give you guys an opportunity to pause. That'll be a few seconds, brief few seconds like this, and then we'll move on rapidly to the next point, because I don't want to drag out the tutorial, if I can say the word properly. That would be... I don't want to drag it out, but I want to give you guys the opportunity to have ample time to pause and catch up if you need. So anyways, this is the front side of the legs. It is 12 tall, 8 wide. Moving on now to the front side of the body. It is again 12 tall, 8 wide, and the front of each arm 12 tall, 4 wide. Of course, there is 3D effects on the bottom of the arms, top of the arms, and in the center of the chest for his medallion. Coming around to the left side of the leg now, that is 12 tall and 4 wide. The red stained clay right there is not part of the leg. The left side of the arm, again 12 tall, 4 wide. We have the 3D effects at the second row and also the final 2 rows. Coming around to the right side now, that is again 12 by 4. Red stained clay not part of the leg. And the right side of the arm, again 12 by 4 with the 3D effects at the top and bottom. Coming around to the rear side now, we have the rear side of the legs, which is 12 by 8, majority covered by the cape. And then we have the rear side of the body, again 12 by 8, all of it covered by the cape. On either side, we have the left and right side of the back of the arms, again each one being 12 by 4 with the 3D effects. Again, something to consider, the cape is a 3D effect, and at the top center part of the cape there should be a row of 8 red wool. The shoulders currently look like this, again majority just red, and we're going to be building the head on top of it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to pause, again, go back in the video, but now we're going to start making some progress on the head. So for the head, the materials you're going to need are the following. You'll need white stained clay, you'll need your light grey, your black stained clay, white wool. Whoops, that's not white wool, that's a map. White wool, you'll need blue stained clay, and also your 2 grey. So that will be grey wool, and also cyan stained clay. I don't know why it's not grey stained clay, but cyan stained clay. So those are the core materials you're going to need. For the hood slash part of the cape, you'll also need red wool and red stained clay. But apart from that, let's get building. So what we're going to do is start off with the front side. We're going to come to the top left corner. Now by the top left corner, I don't mean this block here, nor do I mean this one. I mean this block right here, because this is the shoulder of, well, the corner of the shoulder. What we're going to do is we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks to the right, and on the 5th block we're going to place a light grey stained clay and bring it 2 forwards. What we're then going to do is the exact same on the right side. So we come to the corner, this block here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 5th block we're going to place a light grey stained clay and bring it 2 forwards. Now you'll know you've done it correctly if when you go to join them together on the first row, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 apart, you'll know if it's correct because of course it should be 6 apart. For the second layer, we're going to simply fill it in by placing 6 light grey stained clay. You could use light grey stained clay here, it would make sense I guess, but again it's optional, and you only really see 4 blocks of it anyway, so it's not the end of the world. That will give you an 8x2 overhang. Again, you can't really tell because of the 3D effects, but it is in fact an 8x2 overhang. Then what we're going to do is expand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backwards. And same on this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backwards. And then join together by placing a row of 6 white stained clay. Just for symmetry purposes, I'll do that as well. And as you can see here, that is now an 8x8 square. Now on the rear side, it's not very noticeable, and the reason behind that is because it is an 8x2 overhang, but there's 2 layers of 3D effects. Again, this is going to be part of the hood, but it is technically an 8x2 overhang of the rear side of the body. But the most important thing is you have an 8x8 square, and that is what this is. What we're going to do is work on side to side, so we've got front side, which is the face, left side, right side, and rear side. Of course, we're going to work on the face first. So each side is 8x8, and we're going to work layer by layer left to right. The first layer, of course, being 8 light grey stained clay. The second layer is 2 white stained clay, 1 light grey, 2 white stained clay, 1 light grey, and 2 white stained clay. The third layer is 3 white, 2 light grey, and 3 white. So that's his mouth slash beard slash moustache slash stubble area, which is why we've used the light grey, because that counts as the stubble. The fourth layer is 1 white stained clay, 1 white wool, 1 blue stained clay, 2 white stained clay, 1 blue, 1 white wool, and 1 white stained clay. So this is his eyes. The next layer is 1 white stained clay, 2 black, 2 white, 2 black, and 1 white, so that's his eyebrows. The next layer is simply 8 white stained clay. The 7th layer is 1 black stained clay, 6 white stained clay, and 1 black stained clay. And then the final layer, which is of course the 8th layer, is simply 8 black stained clay. And once you've done that, it looks something like this. That is an 8x8 square, as you can see. However, it doesn't quite have the hairline that Benedict Cumberbatch does. So what we're going to do is come to the top left corner, and we're going to go down 1. So to this block here, we're going to place a 3D black stained clay. We're going to go down 1 to right 1, up 1. So that's now a 2x2 square. From this top right corner, we're going to go to right twice. We're then going to go up 1. This is what it currently looks like. From here, we go to the right once, and then to left twice. That will leave a 1 block gap in the top left corner, and will give you more of a, I guess, interesting hairline. Now, some could argue that his hair in the film is more of a greyish, brownish colour, rather than black. The reason why I'm using black stained clay is if you use grey, it's too far grey. Like, there's no in-between. There's no grey-brown. It's grey. So that's why I'm not using grey. And if you use brown, it's too brown. So I'm using a black stained clay, because I feel it's like the closest you can get. But if you feel you want to change it, again, that's up to you. Feel free to do so. I'm not going to stop you. Okay, so again, that is the front side of the face. That is an 8x8 with the 3D effects. We're now going to move on to the left side. So coming around to the left side, same logic applies. This side is an 8x8, layer by layer, left to right. So the first layer consists of 5 white stained clay and 3 light grey. The light grey, of course, again representing the stubble. Now in this part, this is where we're going to start making a gradient of the grey and the black. So rather than using solid grey or solid black, I decided to try and gradient them so that the lower roots were grey and then the higher parts were black. That's essentially what we're going to be doing. So the second layer, from left to right, again, is 3 grey wool and 4 white stained clay. The next layer is 5 grey wool, 2 white stained clay. The next layer is 4 grey wool and 3 white stained clay. The fifth layer is 1 grey wool, 1 black stained clay, 1 grey wool, 1 cyan, 2 white stained clay, and 1 grey wool. So as you can see, this is where the gradient is starting to come in. For the next layer, which is the 6th layer, we're going to place 3 black stained clay, 2 grey wool, 1 black, and 1 grey wool. So that is the 6th layer. And then the final 2 layers is simply just 7 black stained clay. Now I say 7 because this is the 8th row here, and that's already done. One thing you can change is right next to this grey wool here, there is a white stained clay. If you punch it out and replace it with black stained clay, it does look a lot better. With that said, that is the left side of the head complete. If you want to pause, you are more than welcome to do so. And we're now going to move around to the right side. So, coming around to the right side now, again, very similar to the other side. It's not quite the exact same, but there are definitely similarities. The first layer is 3 light grey stained clay and 5 white. The second layer is 4 white stained clay and 3 grey wool. The next layer is 2 white stained clay and 5 grey wool. And then the next layer is 3 white stained clay and 4 grey wool. This is where we're going to start adding a gradient now. So the next layer is 1 grey wool, 2 white stained clay, 1 black stained clay, 1 grey, 1 black, and 1 grey. The next layer is 1 grey, 1 black, 2 grey, 3 black, and then the final 2 layers is of course 7 black stained clay. This side doesn't have any cyan, but if you want to incorporate it, again, you are more than welcome to do so. Again, that is an 8x8 square. This is what it looks like, and if you want to pause, you are more than welcome to do so. Coming round to the rear side now. Again, this is an 8x8 square, however, row on left, row on right already done, which means we're only placing 6 per row. This is very, very simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by replacing this first layer, punching out the 2nd to 7th block. So we should have 1 white stained clay, 6 grey wool, and then our white stained clay. On top of this, we're going to do 3 more layers of 6 grey wool. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So it's 4 in total. So we have 4 layers of 6 grey wool. And on top of that, we're going to do 4 layers of 6 black stained clay. So that's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and finally 4th. Very, very simple. And it will look like this. So again, that's 4 layers of grey and 4 layers of black stained clay with the alternating blocks on each side. On the first row being white stained clay, and on the 5th row being grey wool. Okay, so the final side before we go ahead and add all the crazy effects is of course the top. What we're going to do here is fill it all in nicely with our black stained clay, and then that leaves us simply to just finish up the hood and work from there. So before we do add the final touches, which is of course the side of the cape / hood, I'm going to do a little spin around just so you can see what it looks like so far. So again, this is the front side. Each side is 8x8. This side has a 3D effect, as you can see in the hairline, and the other sides will, but we'll get to that in a second. So again, this is the face, 8x8. Then we have the left side. We have the rear side. And the right side. Of course, last but not least, the top side, which is simply just black stained clay. So you could theoretically leave it right here, but I feel that looks a tad too much like Superman. So you need to really distinguish the difference. And the way we're going to do this is with red wool. We're going to come to the left side of the face. Now for the first layer, we're going to come to the bottom left corner, and we're going to start off as a 3D effect by placing 7 red wool. So from left to right, we're going to place 7 red wool. On top of this, we're going to place 6, so it should be 1 shorter, and then the next layer we're going to place 8. So just go over that, it goes 7, 6, 8, and it gives you a shape that looks like this, again out of red wool. Now we're going to do the exact same on the right side now, so we go around to the right corner. Bottom right corner of the build, we're going to place 7, so going towards the left, 7, second row 6, and then the third row 8, so 7, 6, 8, and it will give you a shape that looks again like this. From the front view now, you should see the red coming off the side of the face. Coming around to the rear side now, essentially what we're going to do is incorporate this all together and turn it into a hood. So this is where the bottom part we did here before works, because this otherwise would be exposed, so that kind of caps it off. So what we're going to do is, in front of this white stained clay here, we're going to place 3 red wool, 2 red stained clay, and 3 red wool. Again, this is all 3D. On top of this, we're going to place a row of 8 red wool. And on top of that, we're going to place 2 red stained clay, 4 red wool, and 2 red stained clay. For the final layer, this layer is 1 taller. We're going to leave a 1 block gap, place 2 red stained clay, 2 red wool, 2 red stained clay, and that caps it off and gives it a rounded shape at the rear side, and that is in fact the hood / back of the cape. Now what you could do if you're really feeling adventurous is do what I do normally, where I make the arm raised, and you could put his orange like orb, I guess it is, in his hand. If you want to see that, let me know. I might do an additional tutorial of how to modify this statue to make it like that in the very near future. So again, let me know what you guys want to see. I'll be happy to facilitate as much as possible. I really do hope you enjoyed this statue tutorial. Again, if you did, definitely consider leaving a like and subscribing down below, as well as what I mentioned earlier, because sub boxes being a bit then feel free to follow me on Twitter or other social media just so you can stay updated when I post a video. Again, I really do appreciate all the support, especially from the previous video I did. I was saying that YouTube wasn't the funnest for me anymore and that I was going to drop back down to 1 channel rather than 3. A lot of you guys really supported it and I do appreciate it. It means a ton. Apart from that, I'm going to wrap up the video now. Don't want to ramble anymore. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, my name has been Gummy, and goodbye.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through?